Hey guys, this is Kyle. I'm the CEO and founder of Source Code Before 6, and I wanted to take this time to introduce you to our Small Team product. Small Team is one of my favorite programs because it brings together 5 kids and assigns them a specific role. And these 5 kids work together online with an instructor, and they walk through a process where they come up with an idea and then transform that idea into an animated movie using software code. And so Source Code as a program, we're really focused on one key thing, and that's building potential. And we use storytelling and software coding as the tools to do that. And the areas that we're really interested in building are the comprehension skills or critical thinking skills of every student, the comprehension skills of students by teaching them visualization techniques, co-working skills, so how to work effectively in teams, and then confidence, right? I mean, everybody needs confidence when they go out and they face the real world, and we want every child to build that confidence so they feel comfortable speaking and adding their voice to solutions. And then last but not least, if they happen to like movie making, coding, or storyboarding, the cool thing is we've introduced them to this at such an early age where they can now start working to become proficient. And so they say it takes about 10,000 hours for an individual to become proficient. So starting when they're 8, 9, 10 years old really gets them well on their way of attaining those 10,000 hours to become proficient. So like I said, what I want to do is really quickly walk through and show you the program and how it works. So the first thing I need to do is actually, I think it's cool, is to introduce you to my team. So I worked with a team. We had several instructors teaching this, but I wanted to teach one team, and I took this team here. This team was called Cougar Country, and this picture was taken during our Theme Thursday. I believe Theme Thursday was stuffed animals. I had to borrow one from a friend of mine, but this is the team, and let me introduce you to them. Here's Shiv, who was our director. This is Cody, who was our programmer. This is Anthony, who was our script writer. This is Deason, who likes to be called Diesel Boy, who was our storyboard artist. And then this is Ben, like to be called commonly Passport to Gluttony. And he was another programmer. And of course, this is myself here because I do not look like I'm 9 or 10. And this is me, Kyle, right, with the Detroit Lions hat on. So this is the team. So now that we have the team assembled, the first thing is we need to walk through the process of creating the idea. So let me jump here, and all right. So what we do is, to help jumpstart the creativity, we want to give the kids a framework that allows them to start being really creative and and create a story that really flows and makes sense. And so the model that we use is called the Pixar storytelling model, and it goes once upon a time and every day until one day, because of that, until finally, and ever since that day. And the moral of the story is, okay, so providing this structure really allows them to jump in and be super creative without worrying about whether or not it's going to make sense. And so this is the process that we choose in all of our programs is the Pixar storytelling model. And so in their story, it was called Glap, the jelly bean. And it was like once upon a time, there was a guy named Glap the jelly bean, and every day he liked to jump into his pool filled with jelly or jello. And until one day, this character named Fudge Zuko would swoop in and start eating his jello. And because of that, when Glap jumped into the pool, he actually hurt himself because he was trying to belly flop to impress some girl named Patricia, and so it hurt his feelings until finally he came up with a plan to defeat Fudge Zuko and stop him from eating the jello out of the pool. And ever since that day, he's been trying to belly flop to impress this girl Patricia. Unfortunately, it didn't work. So I can't remember what the moral of their story was, but you can figure it out for yourself as we walk through this process. But this is the Pixar model. And so you'll see from here, they then would develop actually their script. So let me take you to their script. All right, so here's the script here that Anthony created, and actually the team created together. And so we taught them how to write a good script, and so they came up with the script here. So here's Glap in the backyard with his robe on. He says, "What a beautiful day. Well, time to go swimming." He takes off his robe. He looks over. He says, "Ooh la la, me likey," and it's Patricia. She's like, "Well, who is he?" And then Glap, climbs onto the diving platform, and then he's like, "Time to release the secret weapon." And then he does this belly flop into the pool, and Patricia's not impressed. So they created the script for all all the scenes. Here's scene 3 where he's coming up with his plan, and then in the final scene, which is part of the plan, Glap dresses his brother up in a costume to look like him, but the costume has some food poisoning on it. So Glap pushes his brother out, or his brother runs out, and he gets eaten by Futsuko, and then Futsuko gets food poisoning and passes out, and stops him from eating the jello out of the pool. So this is the script that they created. Now after that, we teach them how to actually storyboard, and let me take you through the storyboard process here. All right, so here's a storyboard that they all learned how to create, but then it went over to Deason, or as he likes to be called, Diesel Boy, and Deason began the process of taking that script and storyboarding it. Right, so one of the things he's doing is trying to capture the essence of the actual movie, and then also through camera angles and through the characters. So you see here in the first scene, Glad looks over, he sees Patricia, he climbs onto the diving board, he jumps up, he belly flops into the pool. Then Patricia's not impressed, and then he repeats this process again on day 2, but except Futsuko comes in and sweeps and eats the jello out of the pool, but Glad doesn't see it. He belly flops, unfortunately, into the bottom of the pool and hurts himself. He starts hallucinating, and as a result, he thinks Patricia now likes him, and then he goes over and tries to kiss her, but she slaps him, and then that makes Glap sad. In the final scene, Glap is like, listen, or in the third scene, Glap is like, "Listen, have had enough of this," and as a result, he's developing this plan to trick his brother Judith into dressing up like him and making Futsuko pass out and stop eating his jello. And then the final scene 4, is here it's Futsuko. Glap sees him about to eat the jello out of the pool. So Glap he implements his plan. He runs behind the house. He grabs his brother. He sends his brother out. His brother sees Futsuko. Futsuko eats him. Futsuko passes out, and then Glap thinks that Patricia will be happy, but at that now will want to date him, and she's not. So this is really cool. This is really cool watching them go through this process. So after that, we teach the team how to code, and then at some point, Deason, the storyboard and the script is handed over to the programmers, and the programmers go through a process of actually coding the movie. So here is a product that we use that allows them to code, and they've actually organized it extremely well. So they've organized it into scenes, and if we dive into each scene, we see that there's a tremendous amount of code in here. So they're going through the process of sequencing that storyboard, right, that script and that storyboard, and organizing in a way that will then play visually for the audience to see. And so here's what it looks like. Right, so you see Glap here says, "Ooh la la, me likey." Turns and faces Glap for her, and she says, "Who is he?" And then this whole thing goes on. If we go to scene 2, you see here Futsuko comes in, and he looks like he eats the jello out of the pool, right? And then scene 3, we look here, they're developing the code that will allow you to see Glab developing his plan, and then you also see a great amount of detail here in hand movement, and you'll see that when the film actually plays, you'll see that detail here, and there's a lot of detail and attention put in here. If you look at this, I mean, it's amazing. And then scene 4, the plan is enacted, and here's all the code for that. So once again, the kids went through the process, creating the Pixar story, or using the Pixar storytelling model. They created an idea. They took that idea, created a script, took the script, created a storyboard, and then took the storyboard and the script, and then used it to actually create the code that will show the visual movie. Okay, so these are only 9 and 10-year-olds who are doing this with only 16 hours of instruction, and it's absolutely amazing to see what the end result is, which is the movie I'm about to show you right now. So what a beautiful day. So Glap is in his backyard. Remember, ooh, ooh la la, me likey. Who's he? That's Patricia. So if you notice that the programmers have done an amazing job with really following the detail that was shown in the actual storyboard, and by doing that, they really hit this out of the park, and they've really captured the essence of the storyboard and the film, and so they should be commended on just really absolutely staying focused through this entire process, which is exactly how it is in real life. Now watch Fudzuko come in real quick. See him? He took so that was really cool to see that, how they were going to do that and represent that in the actual film itself. So he's hallucinating now, and he goes over to try to kiss her. Patricia's not playing that, so here's where she slaps him. All right, so here's a scene where he's in his room and he's creating his plan, and where the detail came in terms of how he was writing. You'll see his hand movement, and remember all of that code there just to get his hand to move right there. See it? He'll do it again. Right there, see. So that level of detail really brought this film to life, right? And the kids could have done more detail, but they only had, once again, 16 hours of instruction. So this is amazing, the fact that they could go to this level in that amount of time. All right, somewhere along the line, not Fudzuko, his brother Judith comes upstairs and tells him to shut up, and you see why Glap now wants to get rid of his brother, because he just doesn't like him, which hopefully is not a common problem with all younger brothers, but I'm assuming it is, because I do remember my younger brother wanting to get rid of me at certain times. All right, and here's scene 4, where the plan is enacted. So there we go. He sees him over there about to eat the Jello. All right, now he's going to run behind the house and grab his brother, who he's dressed up to look like him, so he should be the same color. Remember, before he was purple. Now he should be the same as Glap, which is green. He sends his brother out there. Poor brother. Gets eaten by Fudzuko. Fudzuko passes out. Glap wins. Patricia's still not impressed. So I like the end part, because he knows he hasn't. He knows he didn't impress her, but he's like, listen, at least I got rid of my annoying brother. But the bad part is this: I'll now be on punishment until I'm 40. All right. So that was it. So thank you for walking with me on this journey to show you the process. And this is, once again, the process that we take every child through who participates in our 16-session, 8-week online course called Small Team, where 5 kids get together, they come up with an idea, and they walk through this entire process to create an animated film. So there's a little bit of something for every child within this program, whether they like coding, movies, drawing, telling stories. We cover it all, and so that's really cool. So once again, thank you for walking with me along with this, and we look forward to hopefully having an opportunity to build potential in your child with storytelling and software coding. So thank you very much.